It's 7 o'clock. It means I can take these.
Good evening and welcome to our service. Please join with me in consciousness. As we come together in this moment, what I know is that there is only one power in the universe. It's infinite, creative, and intelligent, everywhere present, all-knowing, and all-powerful. We come together in a consciousness of curiosity and possibility as we come to understand the true nature of life itself and of our place in it. So with gratitude and grace, with love and appreciation, I release these ideas into the law of mind action, knowing it is done. All is well, and so it is.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kathy Whitehead, and our land acknowledgement is we work, live, and play on the historical and traditional territory of many Indigenous nations, including the Anishinaabe and Wendat peoples, and more recently, the Mississaugas of the Credit and Haudenosaunee nations. As we gather from many places on Turtle Island, we as settlers are grateful for the opportunity to meet here. And we thank all of the generations of people who have taken care of this land for thousands of years, including the Métis, Inuit, and all other Indigenous people. Although I am not a person of African descent, I'm committed to continually acting in support of and in solidarity with Black communities seeking freedom and reparative justice in light of the history and ongoing legacy of slavery that continues to impact Black communities in Canada. As part of this commitment, I would also like to acknowledge that not all people came to these lands as migrants and settlers. Specifically, I wish to acknowledge those who came here involuntarily, particularly those brought to these lands as a result of the transatlantic slave trade and slavery. In support of our ongoing efforts to confront anti-Black racism, we pay tribute to those ancestors of African origin and descent. We also acknowledge the contributions made both in shaping and strengthening our community. By making these acknowledgements, we strive to be allies and take an active part in reconciliation. We recognize our oneness, we realize our history, and we choose to create a new reality. We are one. And our vision is transforming humanity through the emergence of the sacred, authentic self. And our mission is to welcome you as you are, where you are, without judgment or criticism, providing a sacred place of learning and growing as you seek to achieve your greatest dreams. We accomplish this by offering Science of Mind classes, social events, inspiring workshops, thought-provoking services, and practitioner support. We honor the revelation of your emerging sacred authentic self through our positive messaging and loving support. Now here's Rev B with the meditation.
Welcome to our meditation time. I invite you to just take a deep breath. Allow your body to relax. And another deep breath. Relaxing a little bit further. One more deep breath. Just letting go of the busyness of the day, the busyness arriving here. And if you feel comfortable, closing your eyes and allowing yourself to just receive this time of quiet, this time of peace. No approval needed. Each and every one of us is created in divine harmony with the Universal One. Each and every one of us is some aspect of it. It is with this understanding that I come to realize my place in life. I come to understand that I am created in the image and of the likeness, and therefore I am unique and special, just like everyone else. I am unrepeatable. And so I cherish and treasure the divine self. I cherish and treasure the aspects of my being. I treasure and cherish the essence, the substance, all that I am. And it is in this place of quiet, in this place of surrender, in this place of deep love and appreciation that I accept that no approval is needed, that all that I have need of, all that is necessary for my life has already been given. And I know that this is true for all of us. So I take a breath, and I just know that all is well. All is well in my world. All is well in my life. All is well. The journey of life and living is a journey without a destination. It is an opportunity to be fully aware of each moment. It is about being present in life, accepting the journey, reveling in the beauty of each moment as we acknowledge life. And as we connect one to the other, collaborating, cooperating, living in community with one another in a state of grace and gratitude, my heart is full. My mind is clear, for I know that I am one with all life, everywhere. So I invite you to take a moment to sit in the full awareness of that divine spark. Drop your attention into that sacred space. Notice the beauty, the magnificence, the spectacular being that you are. Allow that energy of love and light and celebration to fully embody, embrace, and expand into your full awareness of the true divine nature that you are. Feel the love that surrounds and indwells you. Feel your connection with the divine beloved. It is in that oneness, in that connection, in that sense of truly expressing the divine. Something happens, something remarkable that might feel magical or mystical. And it is the revelation of God being you, being me. The energy of love permeating every cell, filling all conscious thought, drifting into the subjective consciousness and filling it with peace and love and joy. It is awareness and understanding that I am enough, that you are enough. However created, absolutely perfect, whole and complete, unique and special. This is the truth for all of humanity. This is the truth for every single person. This is the truth of life, of living. This is the truth of being. An unrepeatable, glorious expression. A standout, powerful, creative being of love and light, transforming the world through conscious awareness. Celebrating this truth, accepting this idea, and living with a sense of wonder and curiosity, life simply gets better day by day. All is well and all is good. All is well. All is well. And taking a deep breath in, one more deep breath. And as you exhale, opening your eyes and returning to this space and time and preparing for the message ahead. Namaste.
Well, good evening and welcome to CSL On the Lake. And thank you, Barbara. What a wonderful meditation that was. And now that we're all relaxed, this evening's talk is No Approval Needed. And I just want to reflect back on the last few weeks that we've had with Reverend Barbara talking. Our global theme for 2023 is Living Out Loud. And this month we have spoken on the theme of cultivating authenticity. And so I begin, and I'd like to welcome those online and on later on when people are tuning in to the live coverage on YouTube. We welcome you and we love you, and we're glad you're here with us. So as I mentioned, tonight's talk is No Approval Needed. To live out loud means for us to fully express who we are, have come here to be. Throughout this month, we explore the practice of cultivating authenticity, which empowers us to step into all areas of our life in integrity and with our real, authentic self. Authenticity is the daily practice of letting go of who we think we're supposed to be and embracing who we are. And that is from the infamous Brené Brown, The Gifts of Imperfection, and you'll find that on page 50. if you so look it up. Cultivating authenticity is not about becoming something other than who you are. Rather, it involves us releasing those patterns of thought, attitudes, and actions that act as barriers, yes, barriers, to us standing in our personal truth and power. And by taking up this practice, we develop courage to be vulnerable and to stand in that truth. I will explore parts of the practice for authentically living out loud. There is no way to talk about authenticity without addressing the elephant in the room. Yes, the feelings of shame and unworthiness. Shame is universal in the human experience. It is the feeling that we are not enough. Just pause for a moment and think about that for yourselves. It is a fear of being unlovable that convinces us that if we work harder, if we change ourselves, keep parts hidden from others, and maybe when we finally become enough, we will then be worthy of love and connection with others. Learning what shame is and what triggers shame for us, we will be able to recognize it and move through it with our worthiness. Shame can become a guide for us. It may lead us to the areas that we do not yet love and accept ourselves. It is in those areas we are seeking our worth through the approval of others. Now I'm going to share a couple of stories this evening with you during my talk. So my first story goes like this. It was Rosh Hashanah, my New Year, September 24th, 2014. I was called to attend my son's parole board hearing. It was a horrific experience for me. I was alone. I was invited to sit in and listen only. The treatment was less than cordial or welcoming. I spent the evening before in silence and prayer in my hotel room. The day was long. The atmosphere was full of anger, suspense, and anything resembling love, respect, or caring was null and void. I am sharing this story, of course, with minimal details due to the shameful feelings, the lack of worthiness, and complete disassociation I was experiencing. I did get behind the wheel of my car to drive home. In hindsight, that was a mistake for me. I could have used the time to sit and to be with my feelings, but I chose to drive home. I'm sharing this story, of course, because I came home feeling bruised, fear-filled, as well as anger. I felt like I had a hole in my heart and soul. Truly, I had lost my son. My personal interior work was to begin. So as a practitioner and a minister, of course, you know that I delve into prayer or quotes to keep me aligned and congruent with the spirit. So my first quote is, on the surface of our lives, most of us build a hard shell to cover fear and insecurity and to win approval and success. This quote is from David Brooks, who wrote The Second Mountain. This quote you may know. Failure is a feeling long before it becomes an actual result. It's a vulnerability that breeds with self-doubt and then escalated by fear. And that is from Michelle Obama in her book called Becoming. And I decided to share another story because of talking about shame and fear and things that we keep hidden from people. So I share a story of selling my home in Toronto and buying my house here in Hamilton. This story raised itself up during a talk with my prayer partner last week. I sold my home in Toronto to buy a house in Hamilton. I transferred to an office there as a negotiator. I moved to provide a support system to my son. On the bright side, he would one day be released to live in Hamilton. It was an experience that sent me into deep isolation. The fear was enormous and relentless. I had learned that there was a hiccup. The lawyer's term, not mine. It was Christmas Eve when I received the call. A legal issue popped up, he said, and the risk of bankruptcy was present for me after his explanation. I shrank. I wanted to be invisible. I called immediately for prayer, known to me as spiritual mind healing treatment. I did not discuss this matter with anyone, and I mean anyone. I held it tight to my chest. In the end, I called my previous lawyer and had the matter cleared up within a day. I had to move my feet, stand in courage, and trust that my faith in divine right order would flow in my affairs. I can only tell you how stretched I was. However, I could close on the houses one being sold and one I purchased 12 years ago. I became debt-free. The reason I'm telling you this story is that I believe our fear of change is one of the reasons we create this structure of rules where approval is required to move outside the box. For some reason, it feels right, that fear of change. One of the very few constraints in life needs to be addressed as part of my talk. We plant flowers because we like them and expect them to sprout and bloom each year, as they have done previously. Yet it is in their cycle that they go through change every year. As I see it, change needs no prior approval to occur. It is the creativity and the authenticity of life. God is good. So my first question that I ask this evening in my talk is, what is standing in the way? You may write these down and hold them and take care of them yourself or answer them later. But what is standing in our way? Ernest Holm writes that what stands between us and our good is a thing of thought. And thoughts that stand in the way of us living out loud are that we doubt our worth. And that sense of unworthiness, our shame, keeps us from living authentically. It keeps us separate from others and from ourselves, most importantly. Exploring shame and talking about it can help us reclaim our power. And I can attest to that. And while shame is a universal experience, we don't talk about it, which keeps us hiding those parts of ourself or our story. We can hide in fear of others discovering who we really are. Shame is the feeling that we feel when we believe that there is something wrong with us. It is different than feeling badly about our words or actions. It means we feel bad about who we are, and that somehow we are flawed. That about explains how I was feeling when I was at the parole board hearing. Indeed. Now, I threw in a spiritual practice that may look like this: create an affirmation. Something to interrupt and bring us back to the divine. So I hang out in the absolute love and power of the divine. I release the imprisoned splendor. I live and move in spiritual authenticity and empowerment, no longer thinking of myself as less than. And I take a pause. And I ask my next question. What would happen, I ask it. What would happen if we converted the energy of fear to faith? The energy of doubt to a feeling of belonging to the universe and being safe in it. Would not the original artist go forth with us into new creation? And this quote is from our founder, Ernest Holmes, and from the essential Ernest Holmes. And one of the things that he mentioned is his quote, is that feeling and the ability to be safe in it. And that is the truth with a capital T. So then one of the ways we can have a shift is to practice cultivating an awareness of infinite intelligence in all things. Imagine an awareness of infinite intelligence in all things. I transform fear to faith. Doubts about my place in this life and my capacity to love and be loved are released. With God, anything is possible. So here's our word we talked about, change. Change is faithful. It opens us to new depths within. It's continual, like the universe. This inner movement makes us aware of the eternity that hides behind the outer facade of our lives. Deep within every life, there is something eternal happening. And that quote is from John O'Donohue, Anam Cara. If any divine revelation exists at all, its purpose must be to lead us away from the inverted use of our creative faculty and into such a higher specializing of it as will produce the desired result. And this is from Thomas Troward. So what would it feel like if you could be fully who you are in your own skin and own this your entire life and still feel accepted by others? It's another question for you to ponder and contemplate, and feel free to write out for yourself. What would it feel like? So these examples of asking a question is about listening for an answer, where we are moving from fear to accepting and allowing and giving myself permission to receive. These are words that I use often, that I may accept and allow and give permission. There are ways, to disrobe the cloak of limitations we think that we own and wear. We can choose to exchange them for a sense of lightness. Not being attached to outcome is remarkably liberating. It's not difficult, but it is a choice. There is always more wisdom and trust that accompanies lightness. It helps us to be more present. When we become fully present, we are more able, more generous, and loving to ourselves and others. When things in life are not serving you, kindly change the storyline. And if one practices this, I can tell you, it does transform you. I practiced this one exercise myself for over a year. I get to change the storyline or the ending or all of it. And so can you. Now, Thomas Troward throws us another quote about fear, that fear is rooted in disbelief in the love of God. Love alone is the creating power in all things. Well, anyone that knows me knows that I am not I don't do comic relief very often, but I do have a little humor here. So bear with me. Groan with me if you must. It's all okay. But I have another question that goes like this. Why did the insecure person take flowers to a walrus? Now, if we were all available to use the chat, or if we were in person, I'd take your hands going up and asking you for your answer. But the answer is he or she was looking for a seal of approval. I told you, groan if you'd like. But I try to keep it clean. So if we want to live and love with our whole hearts, and if we want to engage with the world from a place of worthiness, we have to talk about the things that get in the way, especially shame, fear, and vulnerability. And of course, we know that is from Brené Brown, The Gifts of Imperfection. So talking how we can get through all of this, we can take the road to self-discovery. Often calls for the clearing away of the underbrush of ignorance, fear, superstition, and a sense of isolation which has made us feel that we were unworthy, unheld, and lost. In the divine providence of good, salvation is unnecessary, but self-discovery is essential. We do not save that which was lost. We merely discover that which needs to be found. And that is from our founder, Ernest Holmes, from Richer Living on page 5. So continuing on, in the East, the Hindus talk about the thinning of the veil. Today, let's see if we can unveil the perfection of our own beingness. When something is veiled, it doesn't mean that it's not there. It just means it's covered up. As we practice prayer and meditation, we are awakening. We are in an awakening process. If we have been practicing any spiritual practices, we will find ourselves more awake. We'll find ourselves more consciously connected. And yes, more aware of the experience of life. Have you had those moments, those wake-up calls? For me, the first dramatic wake-up occurred when I was a teenager. As a kid growing in the outskirts of the city, I would take long walks at night under an obstructed sky with my dog, Shadow. and all the questions I had been asking in church that weren't being answered. I was finding answers under the stars. I would stare into the cosmos. I didn't know at the time that I was meditating. I would look into the heavens for so long. It was so quiet that insights would come. Truth would be revealed. And there would be a parting of the veil. I remember the instant when I had a conscious experience of oneness. It was a moment of awakening. I literally thought I had stepped through a doorway. Before, I thought life was happening to me. But then I got it. That life is proceeding from me. I've had other moments like that, and they are transforming. I stepped out of victimhood into the recognition of myself as a co-creator. I know that some of you have had moments like this. And if you haven't, perhaps you've had something stirring within. The greater part of you already knows. We are created in the image and the likeness of God. And our conscious awareness of this truth literally touches the quality of our life. Parting, excuse me, parting the veil, it is also described as the peeling of an onion. Jean Houston, in her mind-brain research she did, working with NASA, said that there is actually a physical membrane in the brain that thins as one becomes more conscious, as one practices awareness techniques. The brain actually shifts in form and has a greater content and context of awareness. Unveiling perfection, unveiling God, or whatever you choose to call the absolute. You know, God, the absolute, goddess, the Tao, Allah, Brahman, Jehovah. It doesn't really matter what your name for the infinite presence or what your image is of the divine. Some mystical thinkers believe that when you die and take the happy trip through the tunnel, your first experience of God, as you believe God to be, if you have been a Christian, you are most likely to meet Jesus. And if you have been a Buddhist, you are most likely to meet Buddha. And if you have been Jewish, you are most likely to meet Moses. They say that the image of God that you hold is how God will appear to you. It's a beautiful image that says you are so loved by the divine, that you are given the experience that most speaks to your heart. Because God is infinite, Spirit is absolute. God is the presence of love. No matter our image of infinite presence, how do we daily practice our union with it? Ram Dass said that if you do three things, love, serve, and remember God, you will be on a spiritual path of such certainty that your sacred heart's desire will be made manifest. That's it. It's that simple. Daily practice, loving, serving, and remembering God. It's a triune in its own speaking. The master teacher, Jesus, in 1 John, spoke of such love. He said, "Beloved, let us love one another, for one is God, is of God, and everyone who loves is of God and knows God." Do you have a vision for your life? A dream of what life can be that is so much bigger than anything you've known up until now? If you have a big dream and it's scary, then it's from God. It is inspired. If you have a dream and have no idea how to fulfill it, then that's a good sign that it is God's dream for you. And the manifestation of it is perfect love. You've been inspired by the same force that created the universe. Trust that and carry out Spirit's information and inspiration for you by loving, serving, and remembering. And my last quote: we need never view human personality as something unreal or unworthy, but rather as an individualization of the divine. It is the universal spirit that is incarnated in each one in a unique way, and that gives warmth, color, and variation to that which otherwise would be an eternal monotony. Ernest Holmes, A New Design for Living, page 49. And so it is. And I personally celebrate, I wanted to share this because I did not put it in the formal talk, but to end with it, I celebrate being approved every time I use my credit card. And it goes to this little machine and it says approved. And I'm only sharing that with you because I say to use any kind of practice that resonates with you, then use yours. Your version is perfect in so many ways. Thank you. And now it's on to our announcements. And so we have spiritual mind treatment class that runs Saturday afternoon, 2 to 4, March 25th and April 1. And the cost is $99. Spirit Cafe this Wednesday is at noon Eastern Time. Join us on YouTube. And our guest this week is Reverend Paul Hasselbeck. The Joy Show Friday at 3 p.m. Reverend Barbara has Arlene Vernon, her daughter, back to share her work with you, Arlene's Amazing Planet. It's a fun-filled educational and online experience for children of all the ages. And Reverend Barbara has a podcast now, and her messages are under the umbrella Healing Revealed. Sign up on Spotify, Apple, or Amazon. And we'd like to thank you for joining us this evening. And if being here tonight has improved your state of mind, your heart, and if you feel more hopeful, inspired, happy even, then please support your spiritual home and give generously to CSL On the Lake. There are a number of ways to give. The slide will show you during the closing treatment. And people are invited to stay online for conversation after the closing song. And now I will have time for the treatment, and then we will close with a song. So join with me in consciousness. Close your eyes if you're able, or if you want to keep them open, whatever your comfort zone is, please follow that wisdom. I trust that I'm always one with Spirit all the time, in every circumstance. And all that Spirit is, I am. And since all Spirit, God, has and is, includes all power, all perfection and all good, this is also true of me. And all that I am, God is wisdom. So am I. God is love. So am I. God is prosperous. So am I. God is health, energy, and vitality, and so am I. God is courage. So am I. I can fill in the blanks. Creativity, fun, compassion, etc. Spirit grows and expands me. It encompasses all areas of my experience. As I align with my good, my God, through my trust and love, I open up the channels through which good can constantly flow and flood my life with my highest and best always. Gratefully and graciously, I step aside and trust God to align my life with my perfect good and all blessings. I release the imprisoned splendor. And now I let go and let my life flow. And together we say, and so it is. And I leave you with an affirmation as we play our final song. Let me affirm for you, I am worthy, I am loved, I am enough, I matter. If you'd like to say that with me once, then we'll go into our closing song. And I thank each and every one of you for being present. Affirm again, I am worthy, I am loved, I am enough, and I matter. And we will hear the song by Karen Drucker, Song in My Soul. Namaste.
Healed, whole, well. Healed, whole, well. There is a song in my soul. It sings, I am whole. Everywhere I go, it sings, I am whole. There is a song in my soul. It sings, I am whole. Everywhere I go, it sings, I am whole. 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 There is a song in my soul. It sings, I am healed. I take a breath and know that I am healed. There is a song in my soul. It sings, I am healed. I take a breath and know that I am healed. 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 There is a song in my heart. It sings, I am loved. It whispers in my ear that I am loved. There is a song in my heart, it sings I am loved. It whispers in my ear that I am loved. I am loved, I am loved, I am loved, I am loved. I am loved, I am loved, I am loved, I am loved. There's a song in my soul, it sings of my joy. It bubbles up from deep inside, pure sweet joy. There is a song in my soul, it sings of my joy. It bubbles up from deep inside, pure sweet joy. I am joy, I am joy, I am joy, I am joy. I am joy, I am joy, I am joy, I am joy. There is a song in my soul, it sings I am love, a beaming ray of spirit's light, I am love. There is a song in my soul, it sings I am love, a beaming ray of spirit's light, I am love.